Once upon a time, there was a man who was 48 years old. The man was a high executive on Hollywood. Oh yes, we're going there. This executive, well, he was very successful. And one day he decided he didn't want to be there anymore. You see, Hollywood drained his spirit, and he just needed to follow his curiosity in human form. The mentor, the man, followed his curiosity. He got a life coach and all in between. He read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, so he was converted to spirit. And Brené Brown, daring greatly. The mentor decided to take a holistic pathway in his life. He had a wife, and by following his free spirit, he started to work more independently. And when working independently, he decided to support universities. In these universities, he met a lot of students, 20 years younger than him, and even younger than that. So the mentor started to talk to young women and then found himself being a mentor to the young women. And then the mentor finally met the one who was going to change it all. Because he didn't meet a student. He didn't meet any mentee. He met a fairy. You see, this fairy was different. This fairy was used to having older friends. So she knew exactly how to engage with older people. In fact, this fairy always had older friends. So it was her playground. This fairy wasn't expecting to become a mentee, but she was in need, going through a huge sexual awakening, going through a huge spiritual awakening, going through everything all at once back in 2020. So the fairy said yes to the mentor, to the executive from Hollywood. For the fairy, it was clear that the mentor cared for her. He was very kind. But there was also some red flags that the fairy, with her intuition from Lemuria, could sense from afar. But she let them pass. You see, the fairy was very innocent at the time. She was going through it all. She didn't even know who to kiss. She was in it. So, this older man who's very successful and very in integrity, and I never had that growing up, is right here now. So, okay, let's trust him. But the years pass, and deep down, the fairy knew something wasn't right. Why? Well, something wasn't right because the mentor didn't give anything back. He gave time, he gave phone calls, but truly, the mentor didn't actually give any more than that. The fairy was a bit in denial about that. No, he just helps the other mentees, and with me it's just different. I know he's a successful man. I know he knows people, but it's okay. I'm not with him for that. So he never gave any favors. He never put any words for her. She will ask for recommendation letters, and somehow he never gave them. He did this with other mentees, but never with the fairy. The fairy sometimes wonder, deep down in the silence of her heart, why? But she was used to being used, as sad as it sounds, so she didn't make any of that. But 5 years later, to be exact, justice came by, and the fairy finally realized that the mentor wasn't so kind, that he only came to eat by. He didn't help her more than giving her words of encouragement and always repeating the same old story. You got this. You built this after 1 year and you get to do it, and all in between. Horizon of love is you build it. For the fairy, it was just normal to receive those type of comments because she trusts the mentor. But thanks to the divine, the fairy realized the mentor just came to eat by. How come eating? What is that? He came for wisdom. He came for energy. He came for connection that he didn't receive with any other mentee and or his wife. The mentor took the fairy for granted and just decided, because it wasn't convenient for him to be publicly related to the fairy, to just keep her hidden. But not only that, he kept eating. So he never once utilized the fairy's name publicly. He was always like this. No one post like on her Instagram, never a review, never a recommendation, never. He did this with other mentees, but never with the fairy. And yet it was with the fairy that he asked for advice, he asked for wisdom, and shared all of his important things going on in Hollywood and in the institutions that he managed. Tell me more, my love, tell me more. But when the fairy finally realized that, she took the arrow of truth and killed him in his heart. Because you see, you don't play like that, man. Because I want to know what's your criteria for choosing and picking. Because that's really messed up.